Welcome back to 10-Foot Customs, and on this episode we're going to be working on Porishe. When we brought Porishe home, there was a little bit of grinding and clunking noise in the background, and for preventative reasons, Andrew bought new half shafts for the back of the car. They were the originals in there. We were uncertain of the mileage on this car, so we said let's just put new half shafts back there. That's kind of what it sounded like. He ordered and installed new half shafts, and within, I don't know, it was like 50 miles of installing the half shafts, one of the new ones blew out. So he got a warranty on that one. That was on the driver's side. Put the new driver's side half shaft in, and a couple weeks ago, the passenger side one went out. So we're uncertain why. This car doesn't produce enough horsepower to take out a half shaft, I wouldn't think. Could have just gotten a bad set, but he ordered two new Cardone half shafts now. So I'm only going to do the blown out one on this side. We're going to hang on to the other one just in case it is a backup half shaft. They are the same part number when we ordered them. It doesn't really matter what side you put in. We thought for a while maybe we got them reversed, but the part numbers for left or right when you order them are the same. So it shouldn't be, you can't mess that up. There is a chance that we messed up in and out, but the only difference we can find on the half shafts themselves is a groove that's like, I don't know, it's a 32nd of an inch groove around one of the hubs. It's not a clearance thing. Not sure what it is, but that is the only difference. The only thing I think of, if it could be something for if you had an ABS model half shaft, that maybe an ABS ring goes on there or something. But as far as this does not have ABS, so I'll install them back the way we think they go. We'll take this one out, and I think it's 12 bolts, 6 on one side, 6 on the other, and the half shaft comes out. We'll throw the new one in and get this car back on the road. So let me get my tools together and we'll climb underneath here. Both times it's broken at the same exact spot. Now this has got, well that's not good. This one might not be broken. His bolts may have backed out. Huh. Hold on. Oh no, no, his bolts may have backed out again. Oh, this would suck if that's all it is. Hopefully it didn't strip out the axles, because that would be worse. Oh, see. Okay, he did not Loctite these. I have to check all these now. Hopefully he didn't ruin. Yeah, this is a problem. These are all finger tight. Every single one. And I know he Loctited this one because I told him to, but I'm gonna have to have him check it. But I'm gonna pull this axle out anyway, double check that the threads are all good. And yeah, let's hope it's just that, because that means it's just, again, it could be worst case scenario. If those threads in the half shaft stripped, that would not be good. Oh, that'd be bad. Okay, I'm gonna pull this out and we'll take a look at it. This may be a case of just not double checking that what was wrong with it before we ordered new parts. Wouldn't be the first time I've done that, but it's never a good thing. This isn't good that these are all just finger tight. Threads aren't bad on those at all. Well, a little bit, but not awful. Every single one of these is loose. We're going to clean them out with brake cleaner. That's not to say they didn't use blue Loctite on these. And he just had crud in there. Like if you have grease in there, blue Loctite is not going to seal. I may just had grease in it. But we're going to clean them out really well and put them back in. Yeah, these are all bad. Which means I will go through the second side as well and double check. I'll pull a couple of those out and see if there's blue Loctite on them. And if these had blue, then maybe they needed red. That's so much grease. So much grease, which is good. Okay. What we had to do last time was actually put a strap on this thing and pull the transaxle a little bit to the right to get this to drop out. So I'll do the same thing again, just wrap a strap around it, go to the wheel, the driver's side wheel, and just give it a little bit of a pull. And see if we can't get it to be able to get past this piece. So hold on. I very gently have a ratchet strap just kind of hooked here in the case, and it's around the control arm on that end, and it doesn't take much to move it. Come on. There we go. And it's out. Question is, how much damage was done? Ooh, those bolts are, oh dang, those bolts are bent. Those bolts are bent. Ugh. I assume that was the last one out. Okay, let's see what we got. Doesn't look bad. We'll clean up all the grease on this flange ring out here, and we'll check our holes. We'll get a new bolt and see if a new bolt threads in. We're going to need the new bolts out of the new packages anyway because some of those are bent. So, okay. These bolts are, as far as good shape, not bent. Oh, the threads are gone. Shoot. Let's hope there's something left in the car, or else he's buying a new hub. This bolt is bent over. That one I have to cut off. And, ow, that one's sharp. That one just made me bleed. So there's, that one's damaged. That one's bent. What I think I'm going to do here is I'm honestly not even going to play with this one. He's got brand new half shafts. We'll put this one back in the box as a backup spare half shaft, because I don't know if any metal flakes and junk have gotten into this side of the thing. If we need one, we'll know we'll have a backup that can be cleaned out, re-greased, and put back in. Unless he wants to return these. I guess he could return them. But again, I don't trust the fact that who knows what got into this side when it was flopping around there. So let's... Well, I'm going to ask him. It's his car. It's up to him what he wants to do with it. If he wants to return these half shafts, that's fine. I think they're only 50 bucks a piece. I would have to get new bolts then. I have to go to the hardware store and get new bolts. But I'll see what he wants to do. He always just returned the one. But let me go talk to the owner of the car and see what his decision is. Well, I did talk to Andrew. I stopped in there for a second to ask him about this. And one, he agrees with me. Let's just put a new half shaft in it. And two, he did say he did Loc-tite them. I'm just wondering if he got grease on the Loc-tite and they just never never held. I'm more concerned that we don't have a good thread surface anymore. That is going to be bad if we do not. The other thing I want to check is, did he tighten them? These holes are blind. So are these bolts that come with these, Reman generic axles too long and they bottomed out before they're actually tight? See, these will thread in before I finish cleaning them. That one's seems to be okay. A little sloppy, but it tightens up. There's decent thread there. Yeah, here we might have a bad one. Might run a tap into that one. Maybe. Yeah, that one's not good. I think that one will go with that crud in it, but I can clean that out. I can get it a couple turns by hand, so that one will go. It's just full of grease crud. What do we got down here? That one's not great. I think I can catch the first thread, but that's it. So half of them seem to be just fine. The other half are so-so. Well, two more are so-so. And this top guy up here is not good at all. Hopefully it's just the first thread or two. After going all the way around, we have a good one, a really bad one, a not great one, a not great one, and a good one down here. I'm going to get a tap. Again, I know I'm not supposed to run a tap through them, but I don't have a chase in this size. I'm just going to clean up the ends of the first couple of threads. This is the worst of them. This was the one that doesn't want to go at all. And I think the hole's just kind of mangled. It's kind of got a mushroomed over end on it. I guarantee you it was the last screw on there. Or one of the screws, or one of the bolts came around and hit it, and that's why it bent. But let me do that and see if I can get these cleaned up just a touch. These are M8 by 125. We will double check that by threading into a good hole. These threads might be a little more mangled than I thought. I mean, it's going in. We'll put our ratchet on it and see how hard this is to thread. Oh, nothing. Yeah, this is really taking nothing to turn at all, which is good. And that bottoms out there. Okay, that's all cleaned up. Here is our new half shaft. You have to grease them yourself, so they give you these grease tubes. New bolts. You do want to check depth on those just to make sure they aren't bottoming out before they get tight. Instructions, I have not done this in a long time, so I'm going to read up on those really quick to see what they want me to do. Well, it tells you it should take 1 hour and 25 minutes. It tells you the common symptoms of a bad half shaft. It tells you to grease them, but doesn't tell you how much. These are not instructions on how to put these in. Interesting. I guess they assume that if you're going this far, you have some idea what you're doing. Okay, zip ties have to be cut, and then I got to grease up the ball bearings inside. Hold on. Well, I haven't done this in forever. Piece of plastic in there. If you've never seen inside a half shaft, look at this. So you've got 6 ball bearings in a cage that slide on these grooves, but it allows it to be a gigantic universal joint. That's how that works. So, but this also greased really heavy. Pack it down as good as we can. Anything excess should go down into this boot a little bit. It kind of holds, from what I understand, it should hold the excess grease. Okay, I think that's pretty healthy for the one side. Okay, grease, I'm gonna get this off my hand as best I can so I don't get it everywhere. And the holes in there are cleaned up. We'll try to get this thing aligned without making too much of a mess. Get some blue Loc-tite on all the new bolts and throw this thing back together. So now that this is all set up, the last thing I want to do, this is how much thread we're going to have sticking out. You have these little plates here that go on right there. But this is how much thread is going to be sticking out. I want to see how far the thread can go into the hub. So I got the little spray nozzle off of the brake cleaner bottle. I'll stick it all the way in. And roughly that far. So if we go here, it should not be bottoming out, so we should be good. Yeah, we should be okay. I sprayed down all these threads one last time, and I also cleaned out and sprayed these threads once. These are through bolts, so I know that these ones here shouldn't. Well, they can't bottom out. They're through bolted. So I'm gonna put some Loc-tite in the threads here. That way, at least it's on clean thread at the hole, and hopefully we'll be okay. This is all blue Loc-tite, which should be more than enough. I'll probably put a little bit on the threads of the screws just to be on the safe side. I did thread a bolt into all of these to make sure that they were good. The bolt goes right into them now. See if we can slide this axle in without making a massive mess. Let's see what kind of disaster we can create here. I think this has to compress a little bit to get this in, which means my grease is going to go squishing out to get that side in. And it's going to go squishing out to get this side in, which means I should transfer the grease in here maybe. Can't wait to transfer the click one more time. Oh, come on. There it is. Okay. Okay. Blue Loc-tite is on all of them. And then we have a 6mm Allen to tighten it all in. Use the tube from the there it is. There's one hole. Yeah, there's grease now inside those holes. And I don't know how you avoid that. Let's hope it doesn't make too much of a problem. We just have to keep checking these to make sure that they stay tight while he's running the car. I have a feeling there's grease all over these holes now. So I'm not quite sure how you avoid that when you're doing this. So I got these two lined up, which means the rest of the other four should be lined up. These four in, I gotta raise the rear tire now to spin it so I can get the axle to turn. Let me get the rest of these in and we'll see where we're at. Gonna straighten up out here really quick, go wash my hands, and we'll take the Porsche for a drive. So what's my takeaway from this episode? My 19-year-old bought a car, and because we were gonna try to do some preventative maintenance, he put half shafts in. Has he ever done half shafts before? Absolutely not. That was the first time for him. Did he do it wrong? Possibly. Did he use Loc-tite? He says he did, so I've got to believe he did. I mean, I can't guarantee the ones I put in aren't going to fail as well, just because there's so much grease when you put those half shafts in. But whether you use Loc-tite or not, that's irrelevant. What's relevant is that he spent a day learning how to put half shafts in this car, and they worked until there was a mechanical failure that caused them to fall out. I can't complain. He could have been inside playing video games, but instead he was out working on his car, which makes me happy. So I'm very pleased with that. So the flop to that is I did check the other side, just quickly went through all the bolts, but I'm going to tell him he needs to go through, in my opinion, and check and pull out each bolt and put Loc-tite on them. That's what I would suggest that he do, and I will leave it in his hands. That puts the responsibility on him, and it's his car, and I believe that that's how it should be. If he decides that he doesn't want to go through and check all the other remaining 12 bolts and they fail, well, he's got another drive shaft he can put in. Overall, this was a really simple, quick episode. I'm glad it wasn't as bad as it could have been, because had it stripped out all the holes in that hub, all those bolts went in, really nice. I mean, this is a German car, so I did go and put all those bolts back in at a German torque spec, and they all bit really nice. So I have no concerns that any of those are going to be bad. Again, I'm also going to tell him to every once in a while check them, see if they're starting to back out again, because I can't guarantee that grease didn't get back on those threads and cause the Loc-tite not to do its job. So that's what it is. So with that, we will end this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope everybody has a great week.